for joining me so early on a Saturday morning. How is everyone? Well, so apparently some of you guys did not get the message that we were going to be moving the Craft With Me live from Friday night, last night, to this morning. So I just wanted to mention that I always tell you guys during like Tuesday's sale, or if I put out a message on Facebook or whatever, I do let you guys know. And so there were some people that were confused because they didn't come to Tuesday's sale. So I just wanted to put it out there again. I do tell you guys. So yeah, it was told to you on Tuesday. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Ria. Good morning, Kim. Thank you for joining me. If you can't tell, I'm just a little bit still trying to get situated here. I did wake up at 5:30. However, I ran to get coffee, and that just took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to take. And then when I got home, the coffee was the wrong coffee. So coffee for me is like a 25-minute drive to go get coffee and then 25 minutes to come back. And then, yeah, it's the wrong coffee and I can't drink it. So anyway, that's how my morning has started out so far. How are you guys? Thank you so much for popping by, Maria. I understand. Plans do change. They do. They change for both of us. I understand. Thank you so much for stopping by, though. So today we're going to continue working in the Italian Ladies junk journals. I did create the other two junk journals. I did record making those covers. However, I made them exactly the same way as I made the one with you guys. I'm going to put that video out there for people who don't watch the lives, just so that content is out there. That is a coffee disaster. It happens though. So Dutch Brothers is my favorite. I don't know if you guys have Dutch Brothers there. Hello, Lorraine. Thanks for joining. So Dutch Brothers for me here in Arizona is literally hit or miss. Half the time they make the wrong coffee. And it doesn't matter, like, so this morning I gave the woman the order for the coffee and she read it back to me, and she read me. So there's two drinks, right? There's two drinks that are very similar on the menu, and I order one of them and I hate the other one. So every time I order it, I do verify that they're getting the right one because their names are so similar. So this morning she read me back the wrong coffee drink, and I asked her, oh, it's this one. And she said, oh, yeah, I got it. And I'm like, okay. So I go to the window and I ask the window lady again, because the other girl had read me back the wrong one, just to verify that it was the right one. And she's like, oh, yeah, this is the one. This is the one. And then, like, I tried to sip it before I pulled out of the drive-thru, but there were cars behind me and I didn't want to hold anyone up. So then I sipped it quick as I was driving away, and I'm like, oh, I don't think this is the one. But by then I'm like, I don't have time to go back and whatever. So yeah, Dutch Brothers, they have a Dutch Freeze is the coffee that I get. It's basically a frozen coffee that's like blended up. And yeah, unfortunately, they have Dutch Freeze, and then they have Dutch white chocolate, which is a Dutch Freeze with white chocolate in it. And when they put the white chocolate in, they put so much white chocolate in that it's like drinking acid. It's so ridiculously sweet. And I can't do that one. And unfortunately, Dutch Freeze and Dutch white chocolate, they're so similar. Basically, the Dutch Freeze just doesn't have the white chocolate syrup in it. But every other time, they make me the wrong one. However, I keep going because when they do make it right, it is so good. So anyway, yeah, Dutch Brothers, I don't know where they are in the country, but they weren't here for the longest time. Before that, I was drinking Starbucks, but Starbucks, I love them. I also love them more in the winter time, though, because I do Starbucks hot and I do Dutch Brothers cold. So anyway, it is a coffee. It is a coffee. It's just a mistake. It's fine. I'm not upset about it. I'm not pissed off. I will go out later today and pick up the right kind of coffee. But anyway, that's how my morning was. So I don't have any coffee. You can see my hair is a mess. I did comb it, but it is just what it is. It's been rainy here and it is super humid. And when it's super humid in Arizona, because we're not used to humidity here, it's usually very dry. My hair just goes crazy. And you guys know I normally have curly hair, so it just it makes it very poofy and weird. Anyway, so good morning. Good morning, Shelly. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Joanne. Thank you guys for joining me. Are you guys ready to get started on these journals? How many of you guys have started your journal? If you're doing a journal with me, some of you aren't doing a journal, and that's cool too. But for those of you that are starting a journal, like, look, you can see this crazy hair that I've got going on. For those of you that are doing a journal, amplifies my hair. Yeah, it does. For those of you that are doing it, how many have started? I know not everyone here, whether you bought the journal kit or you're just making your own journal along the way. 2 a.m. getting the cover done. So I was in bed asleep last night before 8 p.m. I was exhausted from the day, and it is very abnormal that I allow myself to go to bed before 10 p.m. because normally what happens, and it did happen last night, if I go to bed before 10, I wake up sometime around midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I can't go back to sleep. And so I went to bed like 7:45-ish and was asleep, completely asleep before 8 p.m. And then I woke up about 12:45 and have been awake ever since. That's just how it goes. If I allow myself to go to bed early. I was exhausted from yesterday, though. So Joanne says she's bound hers, made tags, and the front is designed but not attached yet. You are moving ahead, Joanne. Perfect. Rhea was up late working on hers, and Faith Ann has got her cover started. Awesome, guys. Awesome. So today my plan is to sew in one of the 3 signatures, just because I don't want to take the time to do the other 2. And honestly, you guys probably don't even need to see me sew in the one. But I'm going to do it because I said I would. And then I want to start making some pockets. I might make tags or something else, but the focus for today for me is pockets. And then the focus for the next time will be the tags and the journal cards to fill the pockets. And so hopefully we've got like our signature and our cover, the base construction done. We'll have pockets done, and then we'll have ephemera at least started. We will normally have to make some extra things like towards the end when we glue everything in and we fill all of our pockets, there will undoubtedly be extra ephemera that has to be made. So I want to kind of allow time for that. So have not started, Diana. I understand. It's a busy, busy time. Busy time. Yeah, Kim, long morning already. I probably will have to go to bed early tonight. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to get in that habit because then it just throws everything off. I'm the kind of person where I have to have the same schedule because otherwise I can't function. Anyway, so I think I need to put away some things. The desk is like super crowded so far, and I didn't grab the bookbinding cradle because I forgot it. So I might have to run across and do that. But let me try to situate these journals, and then I'll flip the camera down. So when he went to the doctor yesterday, it was just the ENT follow-up. So when this first started, they thought he had a sinus infection, and I thought he had a sinus infection. He still might have a sinus infection, but ENT said that it didn't look like he had a sinus infection, and it didn't look like it was sinus related, his fevers and stuff like that. That was a month ago. His first appointment with them, they said it didn't look like that. It looked like his CT scan showed he was getting over 1, but that CT scan was a couple weeks old or a month old. So yesterday, they basically, my journal will consist of 1 signature. I have 3 journals that I'm making. They're all one signature journals. I just make 3. Every time I come out with a kit, I just make 3. And that way I can do some different things in the different journals. I do a flip through at the end of all 3 of them, and I will work on one of them with you guys here. I might switch out and work on, like, I have a red, green, and white cover, basically like One's red, one's green, one's white. And I might switch out and work on different ones with you guys throughout this series of lives. And then at the end, I'll show you all three. And I think I like to make three for many reasons. I've always made journals in groups. It's just easier for me to make several at the same time than it is to just work on one and then, start a whole nother theme. And two, I sell the journals, and if I only made one, then, it's obviously going to make more people unhappy because my journals always sell out. And then, like, even with the last ones the last ones I made, people have still messaged and asked me if I have one of those available. And so I don't, so I make three, hoping to fill more people off of my list or that want them. But also making three gives me a chance to do different things in the journals so that I can show you guys at least, like, hey, in this journal, I made this pocket this way, or I made this flip out this way, but in this journal, I made it in a different way. So it's just more options, I guess, for the same theme of journal. And then his appointment yesterday, they basically said that he looked like maybe he had a fungus infection, and she called him in an antifungal medicine, and then we went to the pharmacy to pick it up, and they said he can't get it because there is another medication my son takes that does not, you can't prescribe the two medications together. It's dangerous. So that was a Friday afternoon yesterday, and so they called the doctor to say, hey, this medicine that you sent in, he can't take because he's on this other medicine. So now we have to wait for them to give him the right kind of medicine. And the fungal infection that they're saying he has now wouldn't account for all of his illness, according to the ENT. So we'll see. Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking about, Jennifer. I'll show you guys them for those who didn't see the post. Let me flip this camera down so that we can officially get started. There we go. Yeah, my desk is a mess. I was hurrying to get all of the books off of the desk from Tuesday and this stuff. So I have such a crammed room today. Let me see if I can even get this off of the desk. This stuff we might work with. It's just a pile of papers, basically. But these are the journal covers. This is the green one that I made with you guys last Friday. And then I made this whitish one. And then I made this reddish one. And so the covers are not completed. They will all have lacy goodness fabric and a cover piece, centerpiece put on each one of them. However, excuse me, we have to get to that point. Now I have hiccups. So what I like to do with mine is complete the cover, the base, the cover construction. I like to make the cover, but not decorate it until much, much later. A lot of times it's the very last thing that I do, which you guys know if you've been with me for a little bit. So the point of getting the cover constructed is just so that we can go ahead and assemble our signature and sew that in and start working in the journal. And then as I get a feel for what the style of this specific journal is, then I will make the cover piece for it. So if as I'm working, if I find that, I'm putting more neutral colored things in this journal, then I might put a neutral thing on the front of it. Or if I find that, this one is very Victorian where this one is not, then, I just like to tailor the fronts of my journals to match what is inside. And I know we're doing Italian ladies, so I could just put an Italian lady, and I might just do that, but I'm not sold on that 100% until the very end, basically. So anyway, that's the three of them. And I made these two exactly the same way that I made this one, where I started out with an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and I glued that down. And these ones were from Ruby and Pearl. And so she has these little bits with the handwriting already on the 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And then all I did is fill in the little gaps, just like we did with this one. So I think we're going to be adding more to the fronts and the backs. I know I'm putting some fabric lace or something down the spines yet, and I want to do my sewing in of signatures before I put that down there, obviously, to cover my strings. So anyway, that's where those are. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so let me see. First of all, I need some readers on my face. Especially, it's early for me. It's not really early for the rest of the world, but it's early for me. Let me put some readers on, and then I guess we're going to sew in the green one. But here's another couple thoughts I had for the green one. So when I did it on Friday, you will see two things. You will see that this music paper that I put in here is already starting to crack in the fold. I don't care about that because I'm going to put fabric in here before I sew my signature in. And that's just going to strengthen it, but plus I like the look of it. And the other thing I want to do to the inside of this cover is I want to come in and do some more collage work, adding in, I think I'm going to add Italian Florentine papers collaged in there. I might also collage some of the book page in there, but I do want to do some more work in there. Even though I know I'm going to be adding pockets, I want this inside to be a little more decorative. So I think we're going to continue to work in this one for just a little bit, and then we're going to sew the signature in. And I know I wanted to add this page. I think we found this page last Tuesday, and I wanted to add it into the signature. And so while we're doing that, let's just do it right this second, because also in this signature that I made last Friday, I put this page in. And I wasn't super happy. This is an antique handwritten page. I wasn't super happy with the way that it went in. And I think I might want to do something different with it. Maybe just fold it up and put it in a pocket or something. To me, when I put it like this, I like it. But at the same time, I think it loses some of its coolness. I don't know. I think if I put it in, I want it to go in like this as a page. And I could fold up this bottom or tear it off. So I want to play with a signature for just half a minute here, and then we'll do it. I know I'm putting this page in. Again, you can see that this is wider than my actual page. So I need to decide what I want to do with that. I just like to add a bunch of stuff to my signatures. I think the more stuff I can put in there, the better. I think I'm just going to strengthen this center quickly. Strings in there always. I'm going to strengthen the center of this quick, and then we're just going to fold in the edges where it's too wide for the journal. It's rag paper, so it is sturdy. Where is my glue stick? I was crafting in the other room, and so everything's out of its normal place. Okay, guys, so I want to make some things in the Facebook group this weekend also. I'm going to add in the rack list and the birthday list. So you guys will be able to go in and not only ask for things in the rack list, but also fill other people's requests for items. If you're not familiar, first of all, I started a Facebook group. I don't know, it's almost 2 weeks ago now. It's called Junk Journal Makers Facebook group, beginners and professionals. And so it's for people who are just beginning their junk journal journey, as well as people who make them for a living. And so I'm going to go into the Facebook group at some point this weekend and make those posts where you'll be able to do the random act of kindness. If you don't know what a random act of kindness is, so there's 2 ways to participate in that. You can, in the Facebook group, there will be a post, and you'll be able to put an item or items that you are looking for. So basically, people will either trade you for these items, or they'll just outright, send you the item that you're asking for. So I strengthened this old book page with, this is medical tape for anyone who didn't know already. This is just white paper medical tape. You can get it at the dollar store, any grocery store, pharmacy place has it. And that's what I like to strengthen my pages with. If you didn't have this, you could use washi tape. But anyway, the random act of kindness list. You can ask for things that you're looking for. You can also go into that list and see what other people are looking for and send it to them. And it's basically, you can remain anonymous if you want to, or you can, let the person know who you are and that you are the one, granting their wish. And some people join Facebook groups only to participate in those. And so I am going to be looking for people who are kind of abusing it. I don't think we're going to have a problem. We're a tiny little group and it's basically all just us friends. As we grow, you'll see people that go in there and they're asking for like, a new Porsche. Well, clearly no one's going to send you a Porsche. And obviously I'm exaggerating. But the point of it is that people will be able to ask for things that they need. And maybe, you're working on a specific journal. Maybe you're working on a Harry Potter journal and you want people to send you things that they may have that relate to Harry Potter. So maybe you want them to send you, like if they had a scrapbook paper that related to Harry Potter, or maybe they might have some ephemera or a book that, you could use pages out of or something like that. And so maybe you have these things in your craft room and you're not going to use them and they're just sitting there. And if somebody else is making a journal in that theme, it might, help you out to send them on to some, I cannot hold this straight for my life right now. Send them on to someone who can use it. So, there's that. I'm going to fold this one back this way. But also, it kind of feels good to grant people's wishes and, make their day. So that's kind of the RAK list. Like it's an RAK list, random act of kindness. So that's kind of that. And then the birthday list is where you guys will be able to privately send me or another admin that I'll be adding hopefully over the weekend your birthday. And it doesn't have to be like, I'm not asking for sensitive information, just month and day. That way, when your birthday comes up, we can say happy birthday to you. Obviously I don't want you to share it publicly because there are bad people out there that might take your birthday, even though it's month and day, and use it for something bad. So we are doing it safely, I guess is my point with that. For now, I'm going to leave this page out. I think I might just fold it up and put it in a pocket. It's very special, but to me, when I sew it in this way and you only see half of it, it kind of loses some of its coolness. So I'm going to leave that one out. So the only change I made was adding in this rag paper page right here. And then I think we're going to go ahead and sew this one in. Before we do that, I want to add the fabric down the center of this. And this is the green cover. Did I bring the fabric in here with me? Let me steal it out of this kit. This is one of the kits. And I'm just going to use that ticking fabric that comes in your kit. Hello, Cindy. So I'm going to add this fabric in the center of this one. And so I just kind of want to clean up these strings a little bit before I start gluing it. And also when you pull these strings off, it lets it fray just a little bit more, which I like. This fabric is extra stringy. And so to glue in the fabric, what I really would have preferred is to use the PVA glue, but I didn't bring it in here. So I'm going to glue stick it down. Am I going to do that? This is a little thicker fabric. I am going to go ahead and put the Fabri-Tac down there, but I'm going to smooth it with my finger. I know it'll be super disgusting, but we're going to do it. Oh, okay. So it's been raining here, like I said, and super, super humid. And when it gets humid and it's 110 degrees, it's disgusting. You just feel like you got out of the shower all day long. Anyway, we're going to come in and collage after. I don't know if I want it this wide. Let me look. I'm going to trim a little bit off. The reason why is because I don't want it to take away from the pockets that I want to put in, because right now you can see it's pretty wide. And if I was to try to put a pocket in here, I've got, you know, a full 1.5 inches that I'm losing. So I am going to trim some of this off. And this part will be good for like the tops of tags or something. So I will save those and we'll glue this down. So you can edit the piece that you got in your kit to whatever size you need. If you're doing this. If you're not doing this, then skip ahead. All right, I didn't bring the craft mat in either. I'm just full of surprises this morning. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put Fabri-Tac in. And I'm going to smooth it with my finger as well, because I don't want it to seep through this fabric. Okay. So Fabri-Tac is super disgusting. It is so ridiculously sticky. When you get it on your skin, it's like super glue. We need a tad bit more. Okay. Now, let's get that down somewhat in the middle. And it is a striped fabric, so really what I'm concerned about most is just trying to give the appearance of those lines going straight. And I'm just pressing it into the glue. I spread it with my finger so that if it did seep through, you didn't see the lines of the glue. That was the purpose of spreading it with my finger. And then I'll try to get it off my finger. And sort of, kind of. Okay. And after that, wipe the top of this off. And we're going to trim the length of this ever so slightly. I want to leave some overhang, but I don't want to leave necessarily all of it. This one up here, I'm just going to trim a little bit off. And again, we can use those little trim off sections for something else down the road. But that's that. And before I fold it again, I just want to give it a couple of minutes. It's pretty much centered in the fold. And then let's go ahead and collage some of the Italian paper right in the inside. And then I'm going to sew in that signature. Okay. I have been trimming off one of these sheets of paper. I put this on the inside of the red and white cover that I made. So for this, I'm going to focus, because I'm going to have pockets here. I'm going to focus on just putting a little collage up here in this area. I don't know how much of this I want in there. I don't know if I want the whole big piece like that. I think I kind of do. So I think we're going to glue that in right there. I thought I brought my glue book in here, but I may not have. Yes, I did. This is what I mean when you have a craft room. Hello, the Mrs. Edmondson. Welcome, welcome. This is what I mean when you have a craft room and then you craft in a different room. All of your stuff is constantly, is it in this room? Is it in that room? Did I put it back? constantly looking for your supplies. So I got lots of glue on that one. And I'm just going to pop it up here in the corner. And if I go over the edge, it's better than not getting it to the edge. So there's that there. And then for the back, because I'm going to have a signature in here, you will never see the front with the back. So I probably am just going to go ahead and glue in the same. Let me quickly see what else I have here just to make sure I want to do that. This is my pile of available play papers. Like I could do this one there. So this is how it's going to look. Maybe we want to do those little flowers. Maybe I want to do this one. There's endless options, basically. I made those collage masterboards and I left them across the hall. So I am going to go get those because I want to cut some of them up for pockets. Maybe I will do a piece of that. Or that one. Too many options. Okay, let's do that one. You can definitely tell I was doing collage work. There's a million little pieces. Hello, Linda. Hello. You've been thinking about getting one of those? What did Rhea get? Project cart. Yes, I do too. And there's one sitting next to me, and I do drag it across the hall from room to room, but that doesn't necessarily mean I know where my stuff is at all times. Okay. Clearly, I'd have to cover the whole top. I'm going to edit that a little bit, I think. Or am I just going to stick it in there? Yeah, it gets edited. A smaller piece. And then with this one, I want to put some book page in. But this is our first layer. So let's get that down. And so basically I did the other two covers with the Italian Florentine paper inside. And I was basically trying to show between all three covers that you could use something as basic as just a sheet of music paper to put on the inside. But for those of you that ordered and have the Italian papers, those are also a great option. But if you have just even little bits, you can do what I did instead of wasting a full sheet. And I guess I didn't show you guys, you didn't see the video. Inside of these is the full lining of Italian Florentine. With that, I will more than likely also be doing some collage work in here, but it'll be more like the neutral book page or music page on top of this. So then I need a piece of text paper there. We have this little bit. I don't know if I want to just cover up that flower or what I want to do. Let's kind of go like this with it. Kind of like that. That was just a piece that was laying here. Hello, Teresa. Good morning. Okay. I don't know that I like the straight edge on this one. Let me see how that looks. No, it's got to be up there. Okay, I'm moving in. I'm trying not to take forever today with the decision making of everything. I guess it really doesn't matter. So then we'll sew in the signature. Now, typically when I do that on camera, it doesn't go smoothly. We'll try. Doing any crafting on camera is just different than doing it off camera. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry for half a second. And what I need to do before I sew in the signature, for those of you might be new, you want to go through and make sure that all of your pages are flush up here in the middle, right, in your fold, and that your pages for short pages are where you want them. So that one's good. That one's good. I know there's a little, even that one I can leave there. Those two are fine. There's a little bag and this guy is crooked. And so if I would have just sewn him in, he would be crooked his whole life. So that's fine. There's a little bag in here somewhere, though, that I saw was crooked. I think, yes, we did add in our extended page thingy here. So that's fine. There's the bag, and it's not crooked. It's okay. So I think we're good. So then I just use my fingers and press it into the center, making sure it's all tight up in the fold line. And you can see that we do have some pages that are sticking out a little bit. Let me see how that fits in here. I'm going to need to trim those. It's basically from here out. So I'm going to take those couple out that are hanging out of the edge just a little bit more than I want them to. And I didn't bring a trimmer in here. So I'm going to sew it in and I will trim them off later. I know that makes my job much, much more difficult, but I didn't bring a trimmer in here. I don't know how we're making any ephemera without a trimmer. I better just go grab it. Apologies. So let me run across the hall for like 2 seconds and grab the trimmer to trim those pages down. Because we can't make ephemera without it either. And I'll grab those master boards. Okie dokie. So when we added that little page flip that we made at the end of the last live, it made the pages stick out just a little bit longer than I wanted. These are the collage masterboards that I made over the week. During the week. So this one you can see it's just book page, music page, and Florentine paper. When you cut it up, it's not going to look as crazy. There is some botanical book pages in there also. And this one is purely a neutral one. So those are the collage masterboards. Let's cut these pages as quickly as I can. So I'm just going to trim off a little, and I'm not doing this the right way. I'm doing this the fast way. I'm just going to trim off a little bit. So I took out the whole section that was hanging over just a little bit, and I'm trimming it all together. Normally, I don't know that I would do that, but for speed, you can see that that one's not straight. There we go. For speed, we're just going to do it. And these are the pages that are right in the center. And you guys know how when you like fold a signature, the pages in the center just stick out more and more and more. So anyway, that's that. Now, undoubtedly, I, cut off something that was important or I needed or whatever, but I hope not. Let's get that put back together. We're good. Squish it into the center. And then put it into your, I should have grabbed the bookbinding cradle while I was in there, but I didn't. So then center it in your cover, making sure that you have equal space at top and bottom. That's what you're aiming for. And I think we're good there. And then from there, I just want to clip it. At least we'll have one book sewn in, also in the other ones at some point over the weekend as I work in them. Like I said, I wanted to do a little more collage work in them anyway. All right, so we're sewn in. We've migrated up for some reason. So I think we're just about there. I'm good with that. So the pokey tool is right here. I'm going to do a quick 3-hole. It's just the easiest, quickest way to sew in a signature. You guys are probably very familiar. If you're not, it's a center hole, a top hole, and a bottom hole. So 3 holes. When you pin it all together like this and you poke it through all together, it's really, really straightforward and simple. You don't need to do any measuring. We're going to be covering up the back. Normally, I would love to poke this down into like a book. I didn't have my cradle. So when you put it together like this and sew it in, much, much easier. You don't have to do any measuring. You can just go for it. You're going to put lace or fabric on your spine anyway. So you're basically, you don't need to care if they're exactly even. This is much easier in the cradle, especially because we're going through thick watercolor card fabric and 15 to 20 pages. So from there, hopefully I have a needle. I do. Somewhere in this thing with a bunch of scissors. Like 12 pairs of scissors in here. How many pairs of scissors do you guys have? It feels like to me that I just have unlimited tons of pairs of scissors, but only one of them is my favorite. Do you guys do that where you like buy a bunch of something, but you keep using the one that's your favorite? Fisker's rotary cutter. Yeah, I don't like that one. I like the Tim Holtz one. I think the Tim Holtz one is much better. Yeah, the blades are replaceable as in the Tim Holtz one also. The Fisker's rotary to me is not as good as the cutter bug, the green one, cutter bee. What is that one called? Caterpillar? Yes, Caterpillar. Caterpillar is the favorite rotary one. The little Tim Holtz trimmer that I just used is my favorite, like everyday one. But if I'm cutting something thick or like a big bunch of pages, I use the Caterpillar, the 12-inch Caterpillar. Okay. So for those that didn't know, you go down through the center hole. This is super hard to get in. Down through the center hole. This needle is very, very wide. Let me make this hole bigger just to make it easier on myself. I need to grab a different needle when I do that. It's just so much harder with the fat needle. But anyway, if you guys don't have the Caterpillar, I would look into getting that one. It has a system that is kind of unique, and it keeps the blade up against a rail that it goes by. It's a rotary cutter, right? So it keeps the blade up against a rail, and that blade is on kind of like a pulley system, like a track, and it is so strong. It will cut through bunches of thick, like watercolor cardstock. It's really, really good. Okay, so down through the center. For this one, I'm going to go down to the bottom hole, wiggling my way through. Curl cutter. I've never heard of a curl cutter either. And then back up to the top. There's so many different ways of binding a journal these days. I was looking on YouTube the other day, and somebody was doing like a corset binding, and it was really, really pretty. It was a lot of holes, though. Have you guys seen corset bindings where they kind of like lace up the back of the journal? So I'm trying to find this needle through these pages. Curl cutter was popular in the 90s. Yeah. I haven't heard of it, but I wasn't doing much crafting in the 90s. My kids were so young. I'm just missing the signature every time I go down. Right there it is. I feel it. Where am I off here? I struggle with this every single time I do it on camera. When I do it in the other room and I'm sitting down and can just like put my face right over it. Instant success. In this room, it's so much harder. I fiddle with it. Anyway, we're good. We did it. So wait, did I do it? No, I did not. No, I did not. I did not do it. Hold your horses. Beginning again. So what's the difference between a Carl cutter and like a Caterpillar or whatever rotary cutter is on the market today? What's the difference between the ones they have these days? Ria. What one do you have, Ria? What one do you have, Ria? I didn't pay attention. I know you guys are talking about cutters. Are you the one that has the Fiskars one? We're trying it again. I'm still struggling. We did it. All right, good, done. Oh, the newest Tim Holtz one. I see. I don't have his rotary one, only because I have Caterpillar. I do generally like his products, though. I think that they're really, especially the tonic ones, I think those are really good. So now I just want to even out these strings. That's pretty good. Okay. Tightening, making sure we're all good on the back. We are. And then I can close it up. And then I am going to add charms or beads, probably beads and charms on my signature strings, which is why I left them so long. Okay, so there's that one. Now I feel like at least when we make pockets, we have one journal that we can maybe stick them in. Good morning, Jane. Good morning. So there's that guy. And that's what he looks like so far. Now, he's going to need his pockets in the front, pockets in the back, and pockets all through here. We have some pockets just built in, but you know, we'll add the rest of them. Okay, let me set these 3 journals off to the side. I keep piling everything in my chair. So for pockets, I want to make a variety of different kind of pockets for this journal series. I'm going to do some of the standard pockets that I do in every single journal that I make. And then I would like to do some new pockets. Every journal I make, I try to make a pocket that I haven't made before. It doesn't mean that, even if I make it, it doesn't mean that it's going to go in a journal, in that specific journal. But I do try every journal I make to try a new pocket idea or even like a new ephemera idea, just because I feel like we all get stuck making the same thing over and over again. And also I can stick one in my idea book. So I will caution you guys to not advertise for other people's things on my channel, like a cherry on top. We don't have permission to advertise for them, and that is promoting other places, which I have asked you guys not to do. So while I appreciate things are on sale and that's a good deal, we can't be doing that here. So just kind of try not to be doing that. Okay, moving on. Pockets. These masterboards that I made, we can cut up to anything. Obviously, you guys know how to make masterboards. We've made them on the channel before. You could just cut them up into regular little pocket, you know, like index card size pockets. I don't want to start with that because I feel like that's like an easy pocket that we could make at any point in time. So I might save these for a little bit later and we'll decorate some ephemera, like journal cards and tags out of them. You're fine. You're fine. It doesn't upset me. I just have to say it that way. At least, like if somebody comes back and says something to me, I can say I did tell you guys. So anyway, let's make some pockets. I did bring in this kind of cardstock. I have random leftover pieces of scrapbooking cardstock, as I'm sure all of you guys also have. These are just a bunch of random pieces. Maybe you guys have something similar, you know, like leftover in your craft supply. And again, I'm not sure that all of these necessarily go with it, but if you look at the journal that we are making, like this almost looks like Florentine paper. Like it's one of those patterns that, you know, I think we could easily make pockets out of that. And then there were several pages in this journal that had colors and or patterns that, like this one here, it looks kind of crazy. It's actually more of a mustard yellow color than brown, but those colors are in this journal. So again, I think if you read your leftover your leftover cardstock from scrapbooking days, or maybe you're still scrapbooking. I keep meaning to make my kids a scrapbook, but you know, there's so many other millions of things to make that I haven't gotten around to it yet. This is the page where, I mean, it almost has the same pattern on it. So anyway, this one I'm not sure about, but I mean, there are colors like it randomly throughout here. So anyway, I just randomly pulled a whole bunch of cardstock. Like, you guys know how old these brands are. I don't even know that these brands are around anymore. But I pulled some of that. Like, this could almost be a Florentine paper. I love mustard too. I have loved mustard since antique cheddar quilts. The cheddar yellow they use in those antique quilts. So anyway, I pulled a random bunch of pages of that. So if we need some cardstock, I think all of these are double-sided. But if we need some cardstock to make some pockets, I pulled some. And I think I'm going to start out by making just a couple of corner pockets. I want to find the page that we want to put them on, and then I will pick the color. Again, this is super easy. So I know that we're going to put a pocket here. It's the very first page, but I don't know. I think we might want a bottom one. A bottom or a corner. A corner could go there. If I did a corner, would I want that one there? Maybe this blue one there. The blue one is pretty, and there are some like lighter color flowers. Even that one would work there. So I'm just going to cut 2 corner pockets. This is the one page I'm not sure about. That one is really blending in with that page, so any of those would work. I like this one, but there is a specific page in here that I wanted it to go with. Now I don't know which one. Anyway, so we're going to do corner pockets first, and you guys know, like, the big slant pockets. This page here needs a whole page decoration thing on it. This one has this blue color. I don't know if you guys can tell how well they go together, but they go together just randomly. Anyway, let me find that one with the cheddar color on it. I don't think it was that one, but that one does have cheddar. Maybe it was that one. I guess so, because there isn't another one. Okay, well, let's put it on that one then. So for this one, I hate to cover this up and put a pocket across the bottom, but we'll wait. I'm going to cut the 2 slanted pockets with this cardstock right here. So around the edges of my cover, I did not. The reason being, 2 things. A, I ran out of time, and B, these are just paper covers, and honestly, I probably should have. I kind of wish that I would have now, but I didn't, and I ran out of time. So this one isn't going to be sewn around. I don't know if I'll go back and sew, but sometimes when you sew around a pure paper cover, like there's no fabric anywhere on it, sometimes it'll perforate the paper, and I don't necessarily like that on every cover. I probably would have had I had time to do it on these, but I didn't, so we're moving on. You can, if you want to, just watch the perforation. Sometimes when you're sewing on a cover that has no fabric, like it's not fabric on here and it's not fabric on here, you need to elongate your stitch so that you're making fewer holes, so that the holes that your sewing needle is going in and perforating your paper, there's more distance between them. In most sewing machines, you can elongate your stitch quite easily. That's what I would have done had I sewn around the pure paper cover. I have been known to undo my signature completely and go and sew it back around it. So if I come back and it's sewn around, Don't be surprised. It may happen. But let's do some corner pockets. The first thing I want to do is kind of cut it to like a 9-inch size. My journal is 9 inches tall, and so probably 8.5 will be fine, but I'm just going to cut it to 8.5. Yeah, I should have. I kind of wish I would have. I don't know. I don't know. All I can say is I had a very busy week, and I guess that part of it escaped my brain. So I cut it to size as far as height goes. And now I just want to cut it to the right width. I think we're going to go 5.5, and we'll trim it from there if we need to. You saw my comment? Okay, Jane. Sure. Thank you. No, Cindy, you definitely are right. I would have sewn around it more than likely. Sometimes I don't on the paper to paper covers, but I probably would have. So for this one, I think I just want a straight, like a, 50% bevel, I don't know, cut of this. So basically how I'm going to cut this pocket, I'm doing a pocket that goes from this corner of the page to this corner of the page. So I cut this piece of paper to roughly this size. And then in the little trimmer, I'm putting the corner of this where the cut groove is and the other corner in the other cut groove. As best as you can. If it's off slightly, it's not going to matter. But basically that will give you a pretty good slanted pocket. And then just slice it down. And I was up a little bit there, so I'm going to have to trim that with scissors. The Tim Holtz cutter, it does have this open area right there. Most of the other cutters, they're straight right here. And so my cardstock was up in there, so it didn't quite get cut all the way. There we go. So now we have two corner pockets. I don't know what the actual name of those is, these kind of pockets. I call them corner pockets, but I don't know what it is. So when you put the two pieces together, they line up perfectly if you got this corner and that corner in the groove the way I was showing you. Now, one of them could go in this way. So if you're using double-sided cardstock like I did, just know when you flip it over to get your match, right, you're going to have whatever you have on the back. Or what I will do, because I do not like, it's not terrible. I could use it. It might go in the journal. But more than likely what I will do is just use this pocket in one journal and this pocket in this journal. So because they're the same angle, you can only put them on this side of the page. To use it on the other side, you would have to use the reverse. So I'm just going to put it on in this journal this way, and I'll save this one for the next journal. You could flip it around and do like a top pocket to tuck that way if you wanted, but that's the only other way to keep that pattern on the same side. Corner pocket works for you? Cool. It's almost like playing pool or something. Anyway, I've never played pool. This is how I'm putting this pocket on this page, I do believe. And then we'll do some decorating, but I'm going to decorate it before I stick it down, but that's what I cut for that page. And I think it works with the colors. I don't know if I hold it up if you guys will be able to see a little better, but I think it works with those colors. So that's that pocket. We'll decorate him. I'll save this one for the other journal because it's just like an ugly, muddy brown. So let me tuck that one in another journal. Okay. So that was that piece of cardstock. Next, I just need to find my next page I want to put a pocket on. I might put a pocket right here. I'm not sure. We'll leave that one for the time being. Right now, I'm trying to cover up pages that I know I want a pocket on. And then we'll come back through and make some other kind of pockets. See, I hate to cover up Rachel's beautiful paper. Do you guys ever do that where it's like such a pretty digital and she's got stuff all over them that you just don't want to cover up? Well, that's where I'm at right now. And obviously all my pockets are not going to be cardstock, but I just wanted to start with that. I think that's easy. That page again, it just wiggled as I was sewing it in. It was one that was wiggling before I sewed it in. We'll leave it for now. I don't want to cover up any ladies at the bottom. This one is light enough where you could write on it, but more than likely I'm going to stick a pocket on there. And that's actually a really pretty color for that one. I might just stick that pocket on. Obviously, we need to come up with something for this one. I could do like a giant sack and glue the sack down and it could have a big tag that popped in it or something like that. But I want to cover up this page. I think you guys can see why. We have half of a bridal gown here. I just don't like seeing half of that image. And to be honest, none of this is my favorite. I want more of an antique looking journal, and all of this is a little newer looking to me. So this is the perfect page to just plaster something big down over the whole thing. I'm thinking like a sack. We'll do like a big sack with one of the giant tags in. We could work on that if I had a sack in here. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Not that they're not, like, they're beautiful, but I just don't feel them for this journal. And so this cardstock kind of works on that page. We'll see. I just pulled the cardstock, so as we work in them, and again, this one I know I want a pocket right there. We have a pocket that has those colors. I think this is a good collage masterboard one because I can pull the purple in with it. Maybe we should just cut that one and do that one quick. Let's do that. So I'm going to use the neutral. I know I want one there, so we're just going to do it. I'm going to use the neutral masterboard, and it doesn't really matter which way we cut this. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it 3.5 inches off this edge, and that's what I'm going to make my pocket out of. And that leaves us length for longer tags. And so if I did 3.5, I think we're going to want to do it at 5. I might do it just 4 3/4. I don't want anything to be too close to the spine. When you add your pockets all the way over to your spine over here, it starts really bulking that area up. So I think we're going to use this piece. So that's cut. And then there's this beautiful purple flower here. So I want to pull some purple Florentine paper in. And I know that we have some. So I could use this one. Kind of somewhere on there. Or maybe we want to go totally crazy colors. I need to research some new pocket ideas so that when we come back, we can make some new ones. I might use this one. I kind of think I'm going to. I don't know where else I would use that paper, so let's do it. I'm just going to tear it. Ooh, well, I didn't really mean to tear it like that, but that'll work too. That'll work. I'm just gluing Florentine paper down, and then we're going to put something, probably a flower, because we're kind of on a floral page. And I didn't really get a whole flower with my Florentine paper. I'm just even going to leave that little piece there. I don't care about it. I'm just going to glue it down whenever I find my glue book. I keep losing it. So I'll cover up the spots that I knew I have to have a pocket on, and then we'll go back and make random pockets, and we'll add those in wherever later. My goal is to put 6 pockets in the front half of my journal, and then 6 pockets in the back half of my journal. So I would like to have a total of 12 pockets. And that's not including, you know, like little tucks and things like that, but just actual pockets. And that probably won't include these here. We'll see how fat the journal is getting, but 6 in the front and 6 in the back half. From there, you know, you can add whatever will fit, or you feel like adding or whatever. But okay, so now we need a flower for this pocket. Super simple pocket. I am going to trim that around. I'm just waiting for the glue to dry. Let's find a flower for that. I didn't know if we wanted to use the, that's too big for it, but if we wanted to use the German scrap in this one, or if we wanted to use Rachel's flowers or some other kind of fussy cut flowers. I'm going to see what's in this German scrap bucket. You guys cannot see me. It's hard in this room, like, to look. You have to have your head under the camera. Whereas in the other room, the camera's at a different angle and it just works better. All of these flowers in here that I'm seeing are pretty small. Like, I don't know, does that work? It kind of does. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Let me see what else we have quick. For that color combination, that might be either one of those. A good option. So Florentine paper with German scrap would be good. The other option is, where are they? Over here. I could just stick flowers. I brought in some fabric because I wanted to do some stamped fabric pockets too. So don't just think I'm doing just paper pockets. I'm going to do some stamped fabric here in just a minute, and we're going to make pockets out of that. I could use the Martha Stewart. Oh, not Martha Stewart. Oh my gosh, Anna Griffin flower. Yep, that just happened. I could use the Anna Griffin flowers too. Not that color. I do like these ones because they're a little more matte in finish. Let me see if I can find something quickly that goes there. I should organize these by color because every time I have to come in here and dig, it's just like all random. And again, you guys probably can't see me digging, but wrong direction. That one's kind of a weird color of purple. There's these ones. You guys like, do you like this one? Is it focusing? That one. Or maybe like this one. I think I like the Anna Griffin one, but keeping in mind I'm trimming that right as we speak. You guys can vote Anna Griffin or German scrap. Some of the ephemera that I'll make will have German scrap on it, probably. I don't know. Let me give that a thumb notch before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Awesome, Cindy. Awesome. Thank you for joining. You have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday. The other project I want to do is the stamped fabric. So we'll get to stamped fabric after I get a couple of pockets made, just so I feel like I accomplished something quick. You like the German scrap? Either one works. It really does. The second one? Okay, you guys are all voting the second one, I believe. So we're going to do the second one. Doesn't really matter to me. It's all good. Now, the second one could have been this one, or it could have been this one. I'm going to do that one. They're the same flower. They're just different laid out, or differently laid out. For this little guy, we're going to use glue stick, even though he's embossed. He usually eats up my glue stick quite a bit. So we will do him on there. And at least we made one pocket. I will probably put a label on that, but I don't have labels handy. So we might do something else, but for now, he's at least a pocket, right? And then we have to decorate this one. For this one, I think we need to put some antique book page in there. I got to think on that one a little longer. So there's that one. Is there another page that I need to cover up quickly? We still need to decorate this right here. I don't know off the top of my head what I will put there, so we'll just leave that for now. Probably a pocket. I don't know. Let's just cover up what we know we need to cover up, and we'll come back. That was our little add-in thing. Whatever reason, I don't know. I think we need to put something at the top up here. I think I maybe want a corner tuck to cover up this yellow right here, or I need to make something else that goes in this spread that brings in the yellow. My printer prints things a little bit differently probably than Rachel had imagined them. I'm just using that Epson EcoTank, and some colors it just prints out, and I don't love the way that it prints them, because online the color is not like that. It's not quite so weird colored. I know we need a pocket here to cover up again this newer paper that's there. I don't know if we want to do something like that and then decorate it. I don't know how much you guys can see, but I don't know if we want to do something like that. I moved my fabric stuff that we're going to stamp on. Change your settings best. You might be on economy. I'm not. It's just the printer. If you get one of those printers, you will know what I'm talking about. Compared to many printers, it is nice printing. However, I don't think it prints out every color as it is supposed to. Specifically, it struggles with reds a lot. Because it's near the straw paper, you almost could do that. I don't see exactly the right one, but I know I want a pocket there. We could do another, collage pocket, but let's see if there's another spot I want to work in first. I think it's that one. I might do this. I didn't look at the back side, but the back side of this one is just kind of plain, like straw paper. Okay. I'm going to leave it for now. Let's do some stamped fabric. You guys know I made very basic pocket beginnings there. Okay. Let's make some stamped fabric pockets. What I want to do with those, we're going to stamp like any type of stamped image that you like. You can use black, brown ink, any other neutral ink that you want to use, or colored ink if that's your jam. And we're going to stamp the image onto some sort of fabric. For me, I brought in, I couldn't find, and I know I have a bunch of it. So any of these vintage linens, you know that if you're cutting out the embroidery section or the edge sections, you normally have all of this center material that is usually left over from the pretty elements we cut out. This is great quality fabric. Most of it is better quality than you would find at the fabric store today, just because it's vintage linens and stuff like that. So any of that center fabric is great for saving and stamping on. That's what I'm going to use. The other option is like a pillowcase. When you, again, you're cutting off the decorative elements that you want out of a vintage pillowcase, then you're left with this whole big piece of fabric. This, again, is usually better quality fabric. It's vintage, right, to stamp on. So that's what I'm going to use. I'll probably just use this pillowcase. It'll be the easiest to cut down. If you have an HP and love it, see, this one is an Epson. And it's the first Epson printer I've ever had. I have had HPs before and I love them, but my favorite is the Canon, and it's a laser, so obviously it prints better, but it doesn't print borderless because lasers can't. So that's why I'm using the Epson. My only complaint with it really is to print borderless. The borderless, it doesn't really explain it, but to print borderless, it has these little trays internally in the printer. And when it prints borderless, it actually deposits ink in the trays. As it goes across the page, it starts off the page and ends off the page. And it's depositing ink the whole entire way. So those little trays get full inside, and it is not a part that you can replace or repair yourself. You have to send the printer into Epson or take it to, some sort of printer repair place. And to repair that, it costs easily, $150, whereas the printer itself is sometimes on sale at Costco for like $290. So it takes a while before your trays get full, but when you're printing like I'm printing, basically every massive print job you do, those trays get full. When I'm printing like, maybe 2,000 pages, the tray gets full. So I do have to replace my printer quite often for that purpose. So I don't love that about it. And the other thing I don't love about it is the colors do not come out as they're supposed to come out. I can print something. Maybe one time I'll do this and show you guys the comparison. But I can print something in the laser printer, the same digital. So I could take, one of Rachel's pages, and it's exactly the same page, and I could print it in laser. Red will come out red, yellows will come out yellows, perfectly the way they're supposed to, the way they show up on the monitor. If you print it with the Epson EcoTank, it comes out more of a burgundy or pinky tone, and the yellows either come out too yellow or brown toned. That's my only complaint. And it's just something I think you have to accept, that the laser printer is a much higher end printer, and the Epson printer, while it is by no means the lowest end printer, it is a $300 to $400 printer, depending on when you buy it. It just isn't the same quality. You like the inkjet printer better. It depends on the quality of your laser probably too, though. Lasers are always going to be a better quality print. That's kind of how they work. But it depends on whether maybe your inkjet is a higher end model than your laser is. So anyway, I cut off the back side of the pillowcase, and we're just going to stamp on it. I'm just going to leave it whole for right now, and then we're going to tear it after we stamp on it. I brought in some of Tim's new stamps. Yes, it is cheaper to use the inkjet. I brought in some of Tim's stamps. This one is not new, obviously. It's the Field Notes one. But I just want to bring in some images right now. And I want them to be fairly small images. Did you guys see? These are his new ones. This is his new one. This one is called Tidbits. It's a bunch of tiny little stamps that have all the numbery things and bits that we need. And then this one is called Hodgepodge. I'm trying to get the glare off because they're in plastic. But it's one big stamp that has all of this, so it's great for backgrounds. This one is also new. This one is French Garden. I'm trying to keep glare off. French Garden. So I'm going to use these floral ones. There's others. This one has some Frenchy things in it. And this is more of like a wallpapery one. I brought others in here, but those were the newer ones that I got. Let's start with some of these flowers. In this bin, I also have some flowers, part of my reach. So what I'm looking for are smaller images that we can tear out and put onto a pocket. I don't really want bugs or moths. I do want mushrooms. These ones are good. I don't really want those ones. I will need a block. I have some backgrounds that we could use. These tiny trees. These backgrounds. Those are too big. Let's look at these two. Okay. And then put that back there. For ink, because I'm going on to fabric, I'm going to try to use this StazOn or Memento pad, but they're both very, very old, and we're going to see how they go. I just want some little images. These first couple aren't necessarily that, but we will get to the little images. And I'm going to tear around these a little bit later, and we'll make our pockets. They will have paper for the background, and the fabric part will be the actual pocket. So for right now, trying to get where you guys will be able to see it as I do it. So you can use any stamps that you guys have. And anytime that you use StazOn on your stamps, it is going to stain them. So just know that going into it. StazOn is a washable, water. How do I want to say that? Permanent ink. You can wash it and it shouldn't come off. This one was a little new. We'll see how it comes out. On fabric stamping is so much more forgivable than, and I'm just kind of centering it. We'll tear around it later. Fabric stamping is a little more forgivable than stamping on paper because there is the thread pattern of the fabric. So you can see that I'm going to need a lot more ink on this guy. I may not be able to get enough out of this StazOn. I didn't bring the re-inker in here, did I? I didn't. Let me try it again. It may just be that my pad is so dry that it's not going to work on there. Yeah, it's pretty dry. Let me go ahead and switch. I don't care about this ink pad. So me switch and try the Memento. It's already much blacker. Let's try it again. And it may be that this little text isn't a great option for fabric. It looks like it'll work if I can get enough ink on it. Much better. So let's use the Memento. So anyway, we're just going to stamp a couple of images. I'm just going to do one more of this one because, like I said, I have 3 journals. So we're just going to get another one while I've got it inked and out. And any little bits that are left over in between these images, I will save and use as tag toppers or, whatever. Perfect. I love it. And then we'll try to wipe it with a baby wipe, but it's permanent ink, so it's pretty much going to be on there. Some people never clean their stamps, and if that's you, that's good. I do try to clean them. I feel like that the ink does get down into the grooves, especially really detailed like this butterfly here. They never come out clean after using the permanent inks. Okay, that's good enough for me. Let's try the flowers. And I'm going to worry about sticking these all away later. I need a bigger block for this one. Pardon my reach again. Is that going to do it? It's not going to do it. Let me grab this other one. Sorry. So this one is a longer, taller flower. Let's do that one quick. So guys, what plans do you have for the weekend? What else you guys doing? What else you guys doing? Anybody got big plans? I'm going to be packing the rest of the weekend. I don't know that we got that all the way inked up, but what we get is what we get. Those are really nice, the ones that have the text with the flower. Okay, I'm going to leave that, and then I want to do the small flowers. Okay, my fingers are getting super inky. Well, welcome back. All right, let's do these botanical images. These are honestly a little bit big, but I'm going to go with it. So these ones are called Flower Shop. So I want this rose right here. Exactly. Who wants to clean? What is cleaning? I don't know what cleaning is. I clean my craft room. Does that count? My house is always clean. There's only 2 of us that live here. It's always clean. Okay. I'm overly inking again. When it's on fabric, I kind of feel like you need to. And then I'll pick a nice big open space, preferably without the wrinkles, but we'll see. Beautiful. I love it. Let's do another one of these. Better get a move on. I want to get this project done. One more of these, and then I'm doing a different flower, and then we're just going to make it. You guys got the idea. Cool. I need another the baby one. Right, Rhea? Right. Definitely. I need to send a message real quick. So it is like 100 and something degrees already. Okay. There are a couple more flowers I want to try out, and then we're moving on. I don't know about these big daisies. I think I'm going to skip those. But I do want those French ones that he just came out with. These ones. These ones are French Garden. Let's do a couple of those. Organizing craft space, actually crafting. Yep, that's the fight, right? This one is the one I'm going to use. Again, these are larger. I think they're going to be fine. We'll see as we go. So I'm going to move this fabric down here and try to stamp in this area. Awesome. You could tear your fabric into small squares first. I just figured for time's sake, I would just kind of cut them out and then tear the edges or something, you know? So these stamps were new, and you know, new stamps sometimes need a little bit of a primer, but we'll see what we get. And if you had foam or something like that to stamp on, that would be good too. You could do this in like a stamping platform. I just didn't bring any of that in here. Ooh, that one's a pretty one. Okay, I'm going to quit there just so we have plenty of time to play with our stamped images. Kind of set these back over there. Sorry for reaching. And 62. Oh, wow. Beautiful weather. Even the rain is beautiful weather to me. All right. I'm going to assume those are dry enough. I don't want the edge of the pillowcase on, so I'm just going to rough cut that off quick. I have hiccups. I apologize. So that's gone. We will again use that for something later. This little one here that's really light, I'm not going to toss that. I think he can still work for something. So we'll save that one, even though it's really light. That was the one with just the stays on, and it's really dry. So from here, I want to try to tear the rest of these. Now, normally I would have like stamped the whole row before I tore it, but you can still go back in and stamp, right? So we're good. And then I'm just tearing all the way around them, making sure that I leave myself generous space to come back in and edit for my pocket. And on this one, I just want a torn edge. I don't think we can tear that, so we're just going to cut it and pull some threads and fray it out. Okay. We're going to try to work with this one first. And I'll show you what my little vision is. So taking one of, I need a ruler. This piece right now measures roughly 5 inches. So if we wanted to use just this as a pocket, we would need to back it onto something just to give it, you know, some stability when we put it on a page. I think I will sew around them on the cardstock that I'm going to back this on. So let me show you what that would look like. I need a piece of plain cardstock. I bring everything in here and then it kind of just disappears. I did bring some plain cardstock in here though. So because it's fabric, you might, you know, put it on just a piece of plain cardstock and then sew around it. And then from here, I would probably add like a little label or something, but I do want to sew around mine before I put them in my book. The thing that's getting me is it's a little off center. So I think I'm just going to center it up. To me, I don't need a full 5 inches. It'll be good without it. So I'm just going to take a little off and center him. Whatever fabric this is, you know, I don't know, some kind of cotton linen blend. It was a pillow sham. So, and then at the top up here, you have choices. You could fold it down and run a stitch across there first, which I might do, where you fold over the edge. And I do have autofocus. Yeah, the tearing sound. I do have autofocus turned off. However, it just does what it does. So I might run a stitch. So fold this over and run a stitch down that little edge first. And I like doing that because then, you know, when you're sliding things in and out of your pocket, you've got a nice firm top. So we could do that. Now you could just glue on a label to this pocket if you wanted to, or you could stamp a label or stamp like in colored ink, a little stamp right there, like a postage stamp. I have some of those stamps in here, and I normally do add like a colored postage stamp to that. So just before we get, I guess I can do it later anyway, but I am going to stick this on cardstock to strengthen it and then sew on the cardstock and then glue the whole thing in my book. And then for the other ones, I want to put them on tags, and I'm going to do a collage base, and then I'm going to add my pocket that has the stamped flower across the bottom. So let's get started making that one. And before I wrap up, and clean up my mess for today, I am just going to stamp out a whole bunch of images on fabric and tear them out. That way I have that to decorate ephemera, you know, as we go forward in this journal series, as well as other journals. And I just have all the stuff out, so I'm just going to do that. It's good once you do get out all of your supplies to make as much as you can before you clean up your mess, right? As long as you have time anyway. So for this one, I'm just going to trim down this cardstock to my pocket size. And right now my pocket is what did I say? I think he was 5 before I trimmed him. He's just a little over 4. So I'm going to do a 4.5 inch pocket. And this is just lightweight cardstock. I guess, let me measure him with this rolled down. With it rolled down and a little edge, we're about there. So I'll cut it to there. And that's the first bucket. And so before I glue this on, I want to sew across here. And then I'm going to use glue stick just to hold around the edge, just really light around the edge. And then after that glue stick gets a couple minutes to dry, I'm going to run this whole pocket through my sewing machine. And that's going to be that pocket. I want to sew it across the top before I glue this down. Do I? I think I do. You could make it a double pocket, but I think I'm just going to do it before I sew this down. And then let's stamp that little stamp right there. Those stamps are right here. The postage stamps by Tim Holtz. You have like a million little postage stamps. You could use a sticker. You could, glue something to it. But I do have the stamping stuff here, so let's just get it done. I was looking for a postage stamp with a woman's face on it. I don't see that he has any. So let's use this one. I just have giant blocks in here, so we'll use a giant block. And if I have something in the blue purple tones, which I have this one, so I have a million old ink pads that I'm trying to use. We could do green though too. I'm going to try the blue one. I'm going to try blue. I don't know if it's a blue purple or what it is. But I have a million old ink pads that I am trying to use. Ooh. Up. And so I'm just going to put like a postage stamp right there. And that's how that went. From there, I will probably add something else. Even, because it's fabric, you could even go in and put paper, like book page or whatever, and collage around that or add to. You could use this as like part of a cluster. It doesn't have to stay just a fabric stamped image. A lot of times I do little stamped images and add those to paper clusters. So that's going to be that pocket. I'm just going to leave that one the way it is. I'll sew over there. And then when we put it in the book, you'll see next time, I guess, what that looks like. But just for instance, like just find whatever page it was that we wanted to cover up something at the bottom of. I mean, not necessarily the colors for this one, but it's just that. It's just a stamped linen piece of fabric, right? Now let's do the tag one. The tag one is normally the one that I make. The tag starts out with a shipping tag, a big 8-inch shipping tag. And then I normally put ledger, some kind of good old ledger sheet. Let's use one of these. I like the color tone of this. This is Antique French Ledger. Let's use some of that. I forgot to post this live in my Facebook, so whoopsie. We're going to use the bottom section just because I don't need any of this fancy header, and we can save that for a project where we do want it. And I also don't care about covering the bottom because the fabric pocket is going to be there. So for this one, you literally can just use scraps. Like if you have scraps of ledger, I don't know if you guys have, you know, ledger that you're tearing up and using. But yeah, we're just going to put it at the top. And so I'm just going to glue this on any old way. Doesn't really matter. Glue book. Glue book. Oh, I love stamping on fabric. Definitely fun. It's a whole other texture that you can get in a journal. It's a good idea, like I said, though, to have a bunch of pieces that you just stamped out and have at the ready that you can add to things that you're making. They're really great for decorating. Also, like we're using it today, it can be a whole pocket. You can decorate tags. Like I'm going to do a pocket on this, but you don't have to make it a pocket. It could have just been to decorate the tag with. So I think I'm going to go right here. All I'm looking for here is what's on the back side, because that's going to be my front side, and to get it straight. And then from there, we can just trim around it, and we'll save these pieces for another tag, or, you know, just put them in our scrap bin. This is really thick ledger too. You could use a ledger that is more thin paper and better for gluing down. I just happen to have this one next to me, so we're using that one today. So there is the front part. Now you'll notice I covered up the hole. That's okay. I'm going to go back in and add the hole now. So you use the template that you already have from the back side to re-punch that hole, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see where it's at. And then put on a hole reinforcer that you've inked, which is this guy here. And because the back is the dark brown color, I'm just going to go with that for the front again. And that's that. We don't have a ledger number up here. I think we should do it. Do I have a blendy thing in here? A blendy thing, and I don't want the brown ledger number. I want the black ledger number. I don't know if this was black, but it will be black now. It doesn't feel like it was black. The black. Now you can see that there's writing and stuff up there. I'm just going to ignore it and stencil on this ledger page number. These are antique French ledger number stencils. I'm just going to try to get it up there in the corner and stencil this. Normally I would have a different dauber, but I only have what I have in here, so we're making the best of it. So this is an antique brass ledger number stencil, and it gives us our ledger page number. So I can add that to any, you know, scrap that I have to make it, even if it wasn't ledger, I could make it look like ledger now. I need to change that because I'll start inking thinking I'm going to get vintage photo and it'll be black. That happens to me all the time. And then for that stencil, I like to give it a quick wipe, just because it's old and I don't want to leave ink on it. Good enough. And then that I just clip to my little thingies because normally I use those together. So that's that. Okay. Adding a fabric pocket to this guy now. So you can see I need to glue right there. For speed's sake, we'll use our art glitter. And that's just so that when you're pulling something out of the pocket, you don't accidentally, peel up this layer. Good there. And then I will sew around this one, but we can tack it down with whatever we want to tack it down with, I guess. So this one is kind of tall. I could make it shorter. I don't hate it on there. It's just a little tall. We could do something like that. Again, I could make it shorter. That one might be a good option. The only thing I'm noticing is that I didn't take the ledger all the way down and you can see through this fabric. So I'm going to go back in and piece another piece of ledger there. Just you guys can see it too, right? I didn't realize this fabric was thin enough to do that because honestly, it's quite thick and coarse. So anyway, I will cover that with another piece of ledger, but we could also use one of these if we wanted a shorter little pocket. I think that guy would be cute on there, but this big rose is cute too. Let's just do the big rose. But before we do that, let me find my ledger page scrap right here. Yeah, it really feels thick, so I didn't think it was going to be that see-through. I guess I should have figured that out. But anyway, I'm just going to piece another piece of ledger on there. Easy enough. I keep losing my glue book, but other than that, like every 5 seconds I have to look for the thing. Anyway. Such is life, losing your glue book. If I'm not losing my glue book, I'm losing my glue pin, one or the other. And I have had dangles on there. I might try getting another dangle and seeing how I like it. But every time I put a dangle on there, it seems like too clunky for me. I don't like it. So I'm just going to leave it overhang and we're going to trim that off. So I guess you do need to cover your whole tag. Let's trim that off. Or use book page. Yeah, you could. But the same ledger is sitting right here. So I'll do it. I need to clean these scissors with some alcohol or hand sanitizer. And you can see that it is 2 different colors of ledger, even though it is the same ledger page. How did that happen? Nobody knows. Okay, it doesn't matter. At least it's not tag showing through. Now let's look at it and see what we think. Should we get that rose up there? I think so. Let's do the rose. I'm going to try to tear it to roughly the same size. We'll see what we got. Not all fabric tears perfectly straight either, even if you snip it straight. I know that I don't want this the whole stem because I'm just trying to move. Generally, I like a pocket to be less than half, definitely. And, it just visually has to look the right size to me. The right height, the right width, the right everything, right? So less than half is generally what I like, especially for a pocket. So we're a little more than half. I think right there looks the best. So let's go ahead and cut that and tear it. Now we have all kinds of fun bits for the tags, tops of tags. So that's going to be that one. And I didn't fold this one down. And the only reason is I knew we were already going to be lengthwise quite a bit with this big flower. So if we're going to stamp a stamp on there, we might want to get that done. I think I'm going to use that same blue, wherever that was, and the same stamp. It's just easy. It's here. This time I'll try not to throw that on my desk. Now, do I want it up here? I kind of think I want it up there. It's either down here or up there. I'm going to do it at the bottom. I like the bottom to feel heavier visually than the top. You could stamp a little word or something else up there. I might go back and do a paper element or something. But for now, that's that. So there's that one. And I'm just going to tack it with glue now. And then when it is dry, I'm going to sew around the bottom pocket with my sewing machine. Now, do we want to put some more decoration here, or are we going to be happy with just having whatever tag is going to be in there? If I do add something there, it needs to be really flat and not going to easily be peeled up when someone's pulling something in and out of the pocket. We could stamp something up there. That way you wouldn't have to worry about it peeling up. I just don't know that I have the perfect thing to stamp up there. There's some really pretty leaves, but I don't know about stamping it. So what if we put, I want something there. I just don't know what yet. What if we put like Florentine paper up there? Or even some music page or book page, just something to add a little bit more interest to that top section. Generally with flowers, I like music. I don't know how you guys are, but I see that pretty much I will add music when I am working with flowers. Not every time, but a lot of time. And see, I don't want that much. I just want like a little piece. I just don't like all these angles. This paper does not tear like normal paper. It is super brittle. Not brittle. It's not the right word for it. It's just really pasty. It's made out of paste. Pasted paper, like paste paper. I just don't like any of those pieces. And it just does not tear. It's not my favorite. It doesn't tear very well. It just kind of has a mind of its own and goes. So I'm just going to see. The other thing I might do, that's not terrible. The other option, obviously we could just use book page, is that paper, German paper tape. And that might be enough coming down from that side. I don't know. I kind of just like that. It covers up most of my French writing, which is really the only thing I'm sad about. I don't want, I mean, I know this is upside down, but I don't want it on this side because I've got the number up there. So let me see the German number tape quick. This. Thank you, Linda. Awesome. Thanks for joining me. I'm just going to take a piece of this. This is the easiest way to add a little something without adding too much. So I'm going to do that. Where's that one piece of music I had? We might do both. I'm going to do both. More is more, right? Let's do both. So let's glue this. Ooh, it just tore off. See what I mean? It's just not my favorite. It's just not my favorite music. Not my favorite music paper. Okay, I think I can still work with it. It all just stuck to my glue page there when it folded over. Whatever that music paper is made out of, you got to use it with caution. So then we're going to add this on top of there. And I think that will still be really good. Let's do it. And then I'm not going to cover the back of this one with coffee dyed paper. Reason being is it's already a lovely color. And I'm going to ink around it. So for here, you just, visually see how far down you want that. And I'm going to wrap this over once it's straight to the back like that. And then we're going to trim off our music page to get our corner back. We just added just a tiny little bit of work up there. I think it's much better that way. I know we covered up a lot of writing, but visually, I think it looks better having that. So then I will, again, glue on this pocket so around it will be good. Before I want to do that, I do want to ink the back of that. Just add the tag. No, I needed a little something. I like it to be pretty when the tag isn't in it too. I don't normally ink, but when I'm inking something like the back of something, instead of putting it on coffee dyed paper, I do like to add a little inking, just ever so slightly distressing it so that it doesn't, this is a manila tag, right? But just so that it doesn't look perfectly brand new. I don't want it to look dark or grungy. I'm not going for that look. I'm just going for a less perfectly brand new. And for me, that's actually a little more than I normally would do, but it is what it is. For good. At least that one's done. And let's stick this on. And like I said, this is a temporary hold. This glue will not hold this fabric pocket forever. It won't. It's just meant to hold it so that I can get it to the sewing machine. So if you do this, just make sure that you come back and you glue or sew your pocket on. And if you weren't going to sew it, if you don't have a sewing machine or you're just not going to sew it, just make sure that you use Fabri-Tac or some other type of sturdy, more permanent glue. And then every time I put fabric and glue stick together, I give it a hard, firm press with my finger to make sure that that fabric and glue bond well together. So we'll let that dry and then I'll sew around it. And then that will be a tag with a pocket. I could paper clip this on a page. I could glue this down on a page, and then it could be a tuck from this way. And in case if you used it like that, you wouldn't need to do the back, but that's one. Now let's do something different. Get this mess cleaned up quick. So we have more fabric here. Let's do this pocket. I brought in another one of my favorite books. I know you guys liked the last book I showed you guys. Most of you guys probably knew about it, but you might know about this one too. This is one of my very favorite books. Wildflowers of Britain, Month by Month by Margaret Erskine Wilson. I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name, but anyway, this is the book. It has these pages in it. So there's basically pre-built, perfect size journaling cards full of just gorgeous, 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 page after page, like I don't know how many pages, but there's one for every season, right? Because it's month by month. So there's December, there's August, there's whatever. I can cut these out and just use these as a journal card. They are so, so, so pretty. I was thinking about using one and putting our stamped fabric piece on it. So let's find one that we like and that we think would go with the journal and also with the fabric piece. I haven't done this before, but we're just winging it and we'll see how we like it. This one is a good one to use. Now, normally I would take the time to take these out with using scissors, like and cutting the signature strings, but for time's sake, I tore it out. Then from there, you just want to trim around your edges. And these, I don't know what size they're, basically like maybe a 5x7. I'll tell you here in just a second when they're cut around. So really, honestly, they are like the perfect journal card. We can leave this as a journal card, or we could use this as a pocket. We'll decide here in a minute. But that's a great book. It has quite a few pages in it, and all of the pages just about are the beautiful, beautiful illustrations. I think she was like a watercolor painter, and she would go and sit in the hillside and do the paintings. Get a sip of water. Okay. The journal card cut out approximately 6 inches, roughly, by 4. So 4x6. That's a large journal card, right? We could use that many places in our journal. It fits in there. I'm going to use one of the shorter ones because I don't want to cover up everything on there. So let's cut one of these guys out. I think I'm going to use this one. And I'm just kind of going close, but not too close. And I don't need anything at the top of it. So all I want on this one is the stamped image. And I'm just going to keep editing until I get exactly what I want. Because the journal card underneath is so beautiful that I don't want to cover up more of it than I have to. So other than this little bit at the bottom, we're good. So that's what I ended up with there. Now we could make that a little pocket on here. It would be a very narrow pocket because I tore it down quite a bit, but we could make it a little pocket on there. I haven't ever done this on this paper before, so that's where we're at right now. I don't know that I love just that. Maybe we go ahead and put like some book page in this. Let me try that. Some book page behind it. Need to find a good book page. Maybe this German one would be good. And so this is rag paper. This one doesn't even, it doesn't want to tear because it is rag paper. So let's tear it. I'm going to cut this side because it's going to line up with the card, which is a straight edge anyway. And then from there, yeah, not a whole lot of it's going to be showing. I'm going to try. We'll see what we get. Just a piece like that. And then our little, I like that. It's a pretty journal card. Again, you could make it a tuck pocket And I might do that just because we're working on pockets today, or it could just be a journal card. I can see that, I don't know if you guys can see across the top, do you see how rough that is? I believe that means my Tim Holtz blade needs to be changed. But anyway, we could just call it distressing. He makes a paper distressor. Maybe I'll leave it and all my edges will just be naturally distressed. I like the way that's looking. I think we're going to do that. And then maybe something different. Maybe I'll ink around the edge. I don't know. But I like that. So let's do that. Let's glue that down. Hello, Kim. Hello, Kim Haney. Thanks for joining us. Happy Saturday to you guys. I love Saturdays. There's a big chunk of glue. So this was antique German book page, rag paper book page. And to glue this down, if I was Rachel and I had that whatever glue stick she uses that she could use fabric on, that would be awesome. I am very leery to just stick fabric on or just stick glue stick on that and call that good. So what I'm going to do, yeah, I'm not going to trust just Oohoo. I don't know if you guys have ever had success sticking fabric down, but I have not. This would have been another great use for the PVA glue if you had it in here, but I don't. So what I'm going to do is make a pile of Fabri-Tac on my paper, my glue page, and I'm going to take my finger in it. As best as I can, I am going to paste it onto this fabric. And I am just trying to avoid glue marks. By pasting it on, you're hopefully not going to get those lines that you would get if you just went straight in and put your Fabri-Tac right directly onto your paper. And I need more. This is definitely a case where the PVA would have been better. PVA glue, you can get, my favorite brand is the Linco brand. I get mine from Amazon. It is also what I use for the spines of my journals when I'm like doing in an old book or something where I need fabric. I think we've got it there. So we're going to pick that up and we're going to paste that down. Linco PVA glue from Amazon. And that worked pretty well. The only thing is it needs to go over a smidge. And I do have a little bit of wiggle room to do that. And there's that. Now I'm just super, super gluey and sticky. We're going to get rid of all of that. We can use the back side. Double-sided tape, not in my journals. The reason being, double-sided tape is great for card making and it's great for scrapbooking. But for journal making, scrapbooks, you basically make a page and you either stick it in a page protector. Normally, I think they're put in page protectors. And, people might turn the page in an album and look at it. But a junk journal, it's more interactive. They're flipping through it more times. They're working in it. They're gluing in it. They're pasting in it. They're, really, it gets a lot more use than a scrapbook does, or even a card does. So I typically stay away from it because it doesn't, even a permanent double-sided tape, it might yellow over time. with heat and sun exposure, or, just age. It might yellow over time. Some of those yellowing factors might come through to the surface of what you've glued it on. B, over time, it might not hold up very well because double-sided tape is never going to be as strong as a liquid adhesive. A double-sided tape, I think, is better probably than a glue stick is. But again, you have to worry about it coming through. So over time, over, decades. So I don't use it in junk journals just because I feel like there are better options out there for journals. For scrapbooking or card making, I love it and have used it for a long time, would continue to use it. I know that there are other products like the Xyron machine and stuff like that. And those are potential options for adding into junk journals, I think. But for me, I probably would still add Uhu on the back of a Xyron, embellishment. You guys know what Xyron machines are, right? I worry. And I think if I was making it for myself, I wouldn't care as much. But because I have to, sell them, I would just hate if somebody, bought a journal and then, 10 years later, they come back and I'm still here doing this and everything. And they come back and they're like, look, it all yellowed and all my memories are gone. And so I just am overly cautious, I think, because of that. But that's what we look like so far. My hands are definitely inky and gluey. It's all good. I am going to try to ink around this, but before we do that, I want to look at using this as a pocket. I'm not saying it's bad necessarily. I'm just saying you have to consider all of the factors. If you use it and you like it, that's probably the most important factor. Just keep in mind, sometimes when they say acid free, it is and it works great and it never yellows and it's wonderful. But some products, they say acid free, but they may or may not be in 10 or 20 years. Some of those companies aren't, 10 or 20 years. They're not going to be here in 10 or 20 years. So we would never know, but like you couldn't do anything. You can be like, oh, you said this was acid free. Even if they were here, you still probably couldn't say anything. I'm just saying, you use what you're comfortable using. And, if you're happy with it, then that's great. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I worry about it. That's all. This whole page situation, this needs to get glued down because it's really annoying me. And this is the page that slid when I put it in. So it is now officially crooked. I am going to have to do a little repairing on that or something. It's easy enough to adjust, but it is not straight at the moment. I don't want to cover up that page. I don't want to cover up writing space. I don't want to cover up that. I think we are going to use this as a pocket, though. I'm not saying that would go there. I think we just put it in the book. Let me put it back up here in the front where everything else is. I don't like that with that. It could go there as a tuck. And then, so what I'm deciding is where I place it, because wherever I place it, I'm going to cut off the corner. So if I place it on this side of the book, I'm going to cut this corner. But if I place it at this side of the book, I'm going to cut this corner. So I'm just playing. That is a really pretty page for it. I'm going to bring it up and show you guys. The colors on that page, it looks really, really nice there. So I would have no problem using this as a pocket right there. But let's see if there's a page that needs it more. We're going to do that one there, so I'll leave it. This one it's so pretty down there. Like, I hate to cover up all of that. I probably would, but not first thing. We'll wait. It could go here. I don't mind. Well, I might mind. I don't like it there either. So I don't want to put it there. I think we found the spot for it. Yeah, I don't want to cover up this either. Some of her backgrounds, I just love them too much. I almost don't like this page, and please don't be upset with me, Rachel. This page bothers me. I need to do something with it. This one, I wouldn't want to cover up the A that's up there. Those are embroidery patterns, and they're beautiful. So I didn't want to cover them up. Don't want to cover up any ladies. That one is kind of a good page for it. So it could go there. Let's see. This page will have to have something put on it, but if I put this here, it covers up that whole doily. So I think we'll do a short pocket here. And I definitely don't want to cover up that. So again, it'll be a short pocket if it gets a pocket. And then I think we're done. So do I want to cover up that stuff with it? I don't like it there as much as I like it other places. So let's put it up here in the front where I originally had it, wherever that page was. Where was that page? I hate having to flip through the book like 100 different times. It never fails that that's what happens though. So I'm going to put it right here. I think that those colors go nicely there. I do want to ink around this one. And if you notice when I hold it up, like you can see why it needs inked around. It just kind of blends into the page a little more than I think I want it to. Am I going to put it here? If I put it here, then that means I don't put anything there. What's this page got on it? Okay, we're putting it here. And reason being is I know I will not put something here. I know I will not cover up these ladies, so I'm safe to put a pocket here. We're going to put it there. It looks great there. Same thing. I am going to lightly ink around it, and I'm going to trim off this whole diagonal corner. It just makes it easier to stick things back behind there. This paper is thick enough to use as a pocket. And I do want to be careful that I don't add too much bulk. So I'm not going to back it. I'm not going to back it to, am I? Let me just back it to book page. Book page is a great backing. It's better than cardstock in the aspect that it doesn't add too much bulk, but it will add enough thickness that I think it is worth it. So let's just do it quick, and then I'll feel like, you know, I made a secure pocket. So my goal is to overbuild a journal. I want to overbuild it. I want to make sure that everything is super strong. I'd rather have it be super strong and me have security of knowing that it is super strong than, like, you know, taking the risk that something wouldn't be, right? That I wouldn't get something glued down enough or whatever. So I'm just sticking it to glue book page. That is going to strengthen it enough for what we're doing right here. And then trim around it. You didn't have to. Like I said, I just would prefer to overbuild than underbuild. And that way, you know, when I send these journals off to their homes, their permanent homes, I know that, you know, it's all good. I hate when everything sticks to your scissor. Normally I would have waited a minute for that glue to dry, but we're running out of time, so I'm trying to get it done. All right, flatten that back out. I'm going to quickly ink around my edge, that was almost dangerous, just ever so slightly. Barely touching it. I just don't want white edge showing, and I want you to be able to tell that, you know, this is a pocket or something. It's super soft right now because that glue is still wet. Inking a little bit more at the bottom. And a little more here at the top so that you can really see it's a pocket. Okay. Done with inking. And I'm just going to glue that one right on in. You can see that my little fabric didn't get quite enough glue right there. The time to fix it is now, so we're just going to do it. And so a lot of times, those last couple of things that I do are thumb through the entire book and make sure that I don't have any type of little corners poking up, especially on tags and things that are going to slide in a pocket, because once that paper starts to peel up, it's just going to keep peeling up. And eventually when somebody slides that tag or whatever in a pocket, it's going to pull it all off. So anyway, I'm not putting it all the way to the edge. I'm going to bring it in and leave a little border around it. And that's going to be that pocket. We're going to glue our first pocket in. For gluing in pockets, I pretty much use art glitter glue because it is the strongest. And I'm only gluing 2 sides of this so that we can use it as a tuck. I have a hard time. I always want to over glue things, and that's just a bad habit of mine. So we get it in, push it down, and our first pocket's in. And if I don't wipe my hands off, I'm going to start staining things. I just have ink and glue and all kinds of grody stuff on my fingers. So I'm going to try to clean them pretty quick. And then we'll move forward. We have half an hour, 25 minutes. Then the next craft with me is scheduled for this coming Friday, barring any appointments that my son has. He and I both have appointments almost every day next week. I think Friday's good, though. I'm pretty sure Friday is good. 99% sure. So it will be Friday at 7 p.m. Trying to pull glue off and ink, and I just worry when I'm trying to touch something, I'm going to get ink on somebody's journal. Normally, I would go and wash my hands after I did something like inking something or stamping or whatever. But, okay. There's that. What do you guys think? There's that pocket. I think that pocket is really, really pretty. And it's fine that it's botanical. And Jane, you asked a question in the Facebook group. How do you like incorporate your love of botanical pages and bird pages and whatnot into a more neutral journal with like antique ledger pages and whatever? Everyone who loves botanical pages also loves ledger pages. And I think vice versa. I think you can just add them into any journal. In this book, it's Italian Ladies, but I put botanical in. I pretty much put botanical pages in every journal I make, even the neutral one. I think, you know, if you're doing a neutral theme, I think adding the botanical pages are perfectly fine in there. I think they're pretty much a standard journal page that everyone expects to find in journals, right? So I think you don't have to stress about it. Just put them in. If you like it and it's appealing to your eye, I'm sure there's other people out there that it's appealing to. And you make beautiful journals, so try not to overthink it. If you like it and it's pretty, put it in. Worst case scenario, and some people will totally freak out about this statement, but I did say it in the group. Worst case scenario is if you were flipping through this journal and you said, oh, I don't want this botanical page in my journal. The easiest, and it's so freaking simple, tear it out. It's sewn in with 3 holes. The entire page, the entire folio comes out of your journal, and it's just like it was never in there. And then, you know, if the person hated it that much, they would just tear it out. Then you would have it to make ephemera with or use in another manner. Maybe they want to fussy cut the flowers and use it somewhere else. I don't care. My point is, you're the journal maker, and as makers, you have to make what makes you happy. And if that's what makes you happy, I'm sure there are a large portion of the population who buys junk journals that will also be happy and like to have it in there. Awesome, Maria. Yep, still here. Still here. So anyway, I don't know if Jane's still here, but that was her question. You guys give her your opinion. Go in the Facebook group and help Jane out and give her your opinion. I just told you mine and I typed it in there already. So let's make some more pockets. We just need pockets. So we can make simple pockets. I don't know. We can make other pockets. I need ideas for pockets right now. One of the things I want to do in this journal specifically is Rachel has a tag kit that goes with the Italian ladies. If you haven't gone over to Rachel's shop, go to Roxy Creations on Etsy. It's just Roxy, Roxy Creations. She has a tag kit that goes with these journal pages. I want to take her tags and attach them to the edge of the page. Like I would put just a tag right here, and then it would be a tuck also. So I know that I want to use some of her tags in that manner. And I am making a simpler, like the pockets in this, I might make some fancy pockets like we've already done, some fancier pockets like the stamped fabric ones, whatever. But some of them are going to be simple pockets. And the reason being is every journal that everyone makes, some of the stuff is a simpler method. And the tag for tuck method is really, really popular. I see a lot of people doing it. So I'm going to do that in these. I haven't really ever done the tag for tuck pockets before in journals, but I'm going to do them in these ones. So anyway, I'm going to do that. I'll print those off and we'll have them at the ready for next time. I will work in this journal, more than likely this one or one of the other three or all three. And I will do that in a pre-recorded video. So I'll make some more pockets and put them in. I don't know what else to make right now other than just regular pockets. Let's cut this and we'll decorate it. This one was going to go on this page. There was a specific page that I pulled this for. I mean, I could make the pocket and stick it down there. I don't love it on that page, though. I think I might leave that page as writing space. That one, maybe? Let's do it. This one, I don't want to cover up all this brown. This might be a good one for a tag tuck, too, though. I mean, I could do it with this. I could even make it a top tuck. My problem is I love her digitals so much I don't want to cover any of them up. You could have printed like just coffee dyed paper or something like that on the backs, and then you wouldn't have to be like Sophie's Choice every time. And you know, what can I live without? For me, it's kind of hard because I love them so much. That page is still bothering me. Well, we're going to do a pocket on this one, right? Yes, we are going to do a pocket on this one. So let's figure out a pocket for this page. I don't think this one's going to work for me. It's just competing florals, right? There's too much floral going on there. I think I'm just going to use our neutral thing. We have this piece left. It's also a great tag, though. I'm already doing Sophie's Choice. We're just going to use it. We're just going to use it. And I'm going to make a little pocket that goes across the bottom of there. I'm thinking, apologies. Where's my other scrapbooking paper? Let's look at the Tim Holtz paper for a second, because I did pull and bring in some other papers that I wanted to use in this journal. I mean, I could almost put that orange one right there. Let me hold off on this. And let me see. I brought in some of the little Tim Holtz wallpapers because there were some that were the colors. They were sitting on my desk in the use it up pile. So let's see about doing that. We have this strip too. I don't love that either. I think I like the orange better. Man, I've just got, ooh, these. No. Different project. I forgot about these. Sorry. These are copy dyed envelopes. So they're like the long money envelopes, like if you were mailing in a payment or something like that from the junk mail. They're just really long envelopes with this giant flap. And I'm going to decorate each one of these and make this like a little flip out in the journal. So it's going to adhere to a page on this side, and then it's going to be able to flip out. Or you could glue it in as a pocket and then paste another page to this side, and that whole page can flip out. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it right now. So we'll figure it out. That'll be our last project for today, is figuring out this little envelope. These come in junk mail all the time. Sometimes they have printing on them. If yours has printing on it, and you could copy dye it and then cover up the printing with paper. Or sometimes, like the way I'm going to use it right now, you could probably glue down the side that has the printing on it. So I don't want to use it here because I'm not going to cover up that A. So let's find a spot first. Quickly, that we need a flip out. That is not a terrible spot right there. I know that I want some kind of either a pocket that goes this way, but this, if I glue it down right here, so I could glue it down on this side and this side, and it could still be a tuck here. And then we could attach a short little page that would turn this way. Are you guys following me? Or you could glue down the flap of the envelope to your page and still only glue it down, the two sides, and make that a tuck. And then your envelope would flip out. You could still attach a page to this side, and then you would have a pocket on the page. Let me play with that real quick. I need a page that I would like to flip out. What kind of little page would we like to flip right here? Do we want to flip this out? I mean, we could fold this up and flip this out to where I don't know that I want this page. It's just the only page sitting here. Let me pull out another page quick, and we're going to use that one and stick that one in the journal. We could even use a pullout that is Florentine paper. That might actually be the quickest, easiest way, is to just pick out a larger size page. Like this one looks really pretty right there. And then you would have writing space on the back of that page. So I think I'm going to make it where the envelope is the part that's glued down. And then this piece is going to attach to there, I guess. Which means I'm going to have to cover that up. Because I can't. I mean, I could have a short page that looked like that. This one have to play with. I know, these are good size. I think we're just going to cut that part off. Glue it right there. I don't love this coffee dyed glued to the white back of paper though. We might decorate that right there with it. It's the right colors for this page. It's like a blue. It's the right colors. It's like a pastel-y page. So let's save that to decorate with. And let me hunt for another page quick. I didn't really plan on what page I was going to stick Yeah, I have planned it. Does that count as planning? I knew I wanted to use the envelopes. Using some of this super old German ledger would be awesome. What if we glued it to the super old German ledger? I don't know that, I mean, it would just basically be like a little writing space right here. I don't know. I have half an idea. I have half an idea. And then we could put like a little like German scrap flower right there. I think we're going to do it. So let's decorate the front. I know it's coffee dyed, but let's decorate right here with this paper. Let's leave this for writing on. Or do I want to just cover it? I don't know, but I got to get started or I'll run out of time. So we're going to glue this. I lost my glue book again. Anybody see my glue book? I don't know where it has gone. Oh my goodness. I need a fatter glue book. This one is almost gone and there it is. And it's too thin and I keep losing it in my pile of papers. So I'm going to cover the inside, the pocket part right here with this piece. And you're not going to be able to cover the whole thing because you got to leave it a pocket, right? So yeah, let's do it. Kendall is a big fan now. And so for anyone who didn't get Florentine paper, there is still Florentine paper, plus my friends have more Florentine paper on the way. I am going to change the shipping next time around just to make it better for everyone. I am going to order the boxes. The boxes are very expensive in themselves. I don't know why, but they're just a weird size. And even ordering them at 250 boxes to get the best quantity discount, it's still really expensive per box. I am doing my best, but I think even with the added expense of the boxes, it is going to be cheaper than paying the extra money to ship such a large box through USPS. So I think we're going to change shipping to make shipping as cheap as we can because shipping was too much last time. I didn't realize, first of all, how much of a pain in the rear those USPS triangular boxes. For those who got your package, you know what I'm talking about. They're not like, they call them tubes, but they're not tubes. They're actually triangles. And while they might, you know, protect your paper well, I think a box will also protect your paper well. Just a regular rectangular box. So the ones I'm ordering are rectangular boxes with tuck flap closure. So your paper will be rolled and then the flap of the box will tuck in. That will save me a heck of a lot of time because those boxes were really time consuming to construct, but also to tape securely because those boxes don't tape closed. They have these little tabs that tuck in them. And it was just a pain. It was a huge pain all the way around. And then shipping, every time I was shipping them, because they're priority mail boxes, you have to ship them priority mail or else you'll be committing fraud by, you know, using their boxes. But every time I was printing one of your labels, UPS Saver was coming up, and it was coming up like half of the price of the priority mail. So if I ordered the other boxes, we could use the cheaper UPS shipping service. So I think that's my plan. Okay. Now, what am I doing with this little flappy thing? What if we cover it also? So like, if I put that there? No, I wanted this here. Yes. I wanted this here. And we're going to cover up the ink bled through from the other side. We're going to cover that up with a little flower. But on this little flap, do I want to leave it as writing space? Do I want to cover it with something pretty? I think I'm going to leave it as writing space. I think I'm going to put a little decoration or a stamp, and I'm going to leave it as writing space. This is a pocket here, but it's also going to be a tuck this way. So let's go ahead and put this glued onto here. This is the blue ledger that JMH, if you're watching or you watch this later, this is the blue ledger you were asking about. It is available. I do have some pages of it. It is from the 1860s. And I'm not gluing that page, I'm gluing this side. It is from the 1860s, and it is written in a form of German that they don't have anymore. This form of German is not written or spoken anymore because of Hitler. When Hitler was in power in Germany, he declared that this form of German to be outlawed because it was the form of German that a lot of the farmers and whatnot, the plain people spoke and wrote, and he said that he didn't want them to do that anymore, that he wanted a different form of German to be the language. So this form of German that is written in this ledger is no longer a language, really, unless you're a language professor or studier or linguistic person. It's not really out there anymore. So kind of interesting. I didn't know that one about the ledger, of course, but I learned that shortly thereafter. So that's that little flip out. I don't care that that's torn roughly at the top. I kind of like it that way. Now I'm going to glue that on, and we'll do some quick decorating and call it a day. Page packs eventually. That's the plan eventually. And I say eventually because cutting all of that is going to be quite time consuming, and I'm not positive about it yet. So at some point, probably there will be cut miscellaneous packs in Etsy. However, I don't know when. I'm sorry. And it'll just be whatever paper is left over after the live sales. So let's glue that in. I'm trying to get it as close to the edge. I could have got it down a little more, but whatever. It's fine. So we have a little kind of hidden writing space. Ideally, I would have had a whole page that would have pulled out, but I don't have one here in front of me. So we have to make do with what I have in front of me, which is this gorgeous letter page. So, it's fine. And then let's just decorate this. Awesome. I'm glad you guys love them. I know that initially not seeing them in person, $8 a page sounds a lot, but when you see how big they are and how awesome they are, I think you guys all understand better now. Yeah, the shipping is the only thing. It was really a pain. So there's this gorgeous little rosebud, and all I'm trying to do, you don't have to, but I just want to cover that little ink that bled through from the other side. And then I'll add something different down there. But let's glue that down. Worth every penny. I love it too. And now we can all have enough to play with, right? Like, I think a lot of us have ordered it before from other places, and you don't get enough. You feel like you have to hoard it, Now we all have big, huge sheets, and some of you will still hoard it. And I will tell you not to, because, we have it. We're going to have it. But some of you will still hoard it. Just play with it. It's so fun to play with. Honestly, they're huge sheets. We have enough. But I understand the hoarding. I do hoard things myself. I am going to show you guys that very, very special thing. This weekend, I'm going to come back on, and I'm going to do a live, and I'm going to show you that very, very special thing. It may even be later today. I'm not sure. It may be. So I am coming back. It might be sooner than later. It might be in half an hour. I have no idea. It just depends on how this goes this afternoon. But I am coming back and I am going to show you the very special thing, and it's going to take us some time to look at it. And I know there's going to be lots of questions. That is beautiful there. I know there's going to be lots of questions, and so I want us to have time to look at it and love on it. And it's a lot to look at. Like, it's a lot. There's 3,000, more than 3,300 of them to look at. So it's a lot, but we're going to look at them. And you guys are going to want to, you're going to want to hang out with me and see them. I'm going to put that little pansy down there, I think. Is it like back to back? I am. I don't care that it's back to back. They're gorgeous. If not the pansy, then are these crocuses? Can you guys tell me? Are these crocus? Is that how you say that? You have to forgive me. I live in Arizona. I'm going to do the pansies. Are those crocus? They look like what crocus in my brain says crocus is. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever had any in flowers I've had before, like, flowers I got or something. I don't know. But I live in Arizona, so we don't have flowers. We have cactus, and occasionally a cactus has flowers on it. But that's what we have. Now, you could have made this a tuck too, but this ledger page I knew wasn't going to be good enough for that. So anyway, it's just a little writing space. We'll make something for in there, and we have a beautiful tuck here. Yes, crocus? Yay! I love it when I actually know the flower name. Ooh, this was almost done. It is sticky, icky everywhere. So, you guys want to vote for a time that works for showing the special thing? Do you want it later today? Do you want it sooner than later? Invoices for the Italian paper. Maria, I think you just have a couple of sheets. The people that are out there, they only have a couple of sheets, and that will happen. I want to know from the people that have a couple of sheets if they want me to fold it. And some of you have already told me, but that will happen today. Absolutely today. Everything that is still here, Italian paper-wise, there's 8 packages out there. It's because they're in those giant tubes, and if I ship them that way, you're going to end up spending nearly as much for shipping as paper, so that's why I haven't done it yet. They need to be folded and shipped a different way, or we're going to have to hold them and wait to combine something else that needs to go in those big long tubes. I'm just leaving this open so that everything can dry before I close it. Let me flip this camera back around, and we will wrap up for today. What are you saying? Do I have books upon books of flowers? No, I don't have books upon books of flowers. I do have a few books of the thing I'm trying to show you. And when I say books, it's so misleading. That's the thing, Jennifer, I will say about the Italian paper, is seeing them in person. They look a million times better in person. It's not only the color coming through my cameras, which you guys know, I'm just going to say it, are crap, but also it's seeing all the detail that you can't see because the camera doesn't pick it up. But the other thing is a lot of you were afraid to like go crazy with pattern and like get a big variety. And I'm just going to say, the more different patterns you have in wild and crazy colors, the better it looks, the more fun it looks when you play with them too. Before I switch the camera down, like, look at this collage masterboard. There is no rhyme or reason to the colors I have chosen. There is purple down here, right next to this brown one, right next to this one over here. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. But when you do it and you collage it all like this, you're going to cut these up. So you're not necessarily going to see the purple with these colors, So the more patterns and colors you get, the more fun you will have when you end up with something like this. that you can play with. And it's just pieces and parts of all different kinds of patterns of it, right? And so these are just some of the samples that my friend sent me in the beginning for me to choose which paper that I wanted. But honestly, the more colors and patterns you have, the more fun you can have playing with it. So like this bird one, we didn't have it last time, but we are going to have it next time. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bird. There's many new ones that I got this time around that we didn't get last time because while I loved them, I wasn't sure exactly how much you guys were going to love them. But you guys seem to love them as much as I love them. So next time around, we're going to have more patterns. But the more patterns you have, and next time around, we have these ones. These are the thick letterpress paper where it's embossed. Next time around, we have all the Christmas papers that I brought in so that we could get started on making Christmas journals, because technically I was supposed to start, this one too, technically I was supposed to start in July, and my whole plans have been derailed, but I'm not complaining. I have complained about it, but I mean, just the patterns, it doesn't matter. Just mix and match them. The more you get, the more fun you have. And I understand, like, I'm selling them, so I'm not really telling you guys to buy them. I'm honestly telling you from using them, the more you have, the more fun you have. And some of the crazy ones that might look ugly, I think are probably my favorite ones. Like, because when my friends showed me pictures of them, I didn't like some of them. Then they sent me a sample of them and I loved them. And those are the ones I ordered for us. And then some of them I just knew that we had to have. But anyway, so next time around we have different papers. All right. So this Tuesday is not Italian paper. Jennifer loves the birds. This Tuesday is French things again. And the Tuesday sale is only if I am completely caught up, which I am expecting to be. So everything should be good. Well, I'm glad you guys are liking it. The detail is gorgeous. It is. Okay, so I'm going to be sending an email to all the people, it's 8 of them, who are waiting for shipping on that. And it's just because I don't want to go ahead and just like ship your paper and tell you it's going to be like as much as, because some people have like 2 sheets or 3 sheets, and that box just it's 26 inches long, and it's 4 or 6 inches longer than what USPS allows without a surcharge. So USPS is making me ship it priority mail because it's a priority mail box, but they're also charging me a surcharge because the box is 26 inches long. It's their box, but that's the way they worked it. So anyway, we can avoid the whole fiasco next time around by using UPS, which it's fine. I'll just take a whole big box of boxes to the UPS store and drop them off. But UPS was like, it was like $7, where priority mail was like 18 or 20. And so, and that was the same dimensions and everything. So I think if I order our own boxes, I won't have to fuss with them as much putting them together, because those priority mail ones, they have tuck-in flaps. That's how they close. That's the only secure way that they do is like a little triangle cardboard piece that tucks into a slot. And I'm like, that's not, I can't ship your guys' paper without like taping everything, because what if one of those comes open and it's a triangle shaped box, and what if it gets squished with the weight of other people's packages while it's in, the mail system? Those little tab things might pop out. So the taping of the boxes took ridiculous amount of time because it's taping a triangle. And it's taping over like these little flappy things. It was a nightmare. I don't want to do it again. So I'm going to be ordering the other boxes, and we're going to ship it UPS because it's cheaper. So that's what's happening next time with that. That's awesome. Love getting gold in soccer. That's awesome. So yeah, they'll be coming. It takes time for them to process orders there and ship it all here, and all of that stuff has to get worked out, but it's coming. So anyway, when did you guys say that you wanted to see The Thing? The Thing is not Italian paper. The Thing is something else. So when did you guys want to see it? Now, today. I don't see anything else. I see Kendall saying, "Oh yeah, not Italian paper. I'm sorry. It's soon, but you know, when it gets here, I'll let you guys know." The other thing is, so just so you understand, paper is 20 inches by 28 inches. In order to pick people's orders and put them all together, you have to have a system that can accommodate 40 or 50 different piles of 20 by 28-inch paper. Italian paper is not easy. I don't know that we're going to do it like all the time, but I figured we'd do these 2 shots of it, and then we would leave it for a while because you guys will all have it and we'll all be using it, and we won't need it again until, you know, we've used it all up. But the Italian paper, it's a different animal. It's not like just big ledger pages. It's so much bigger than that. And then you have to come up with a system of being able to have the 40 different paper piles. And then I can say, well, Jennifer got this one, this one, this one, and this one. And you're walking around trying to pull them all. And it just, I just need you guys to understand logistically behind the scenes, it takes quite a bit of time. And it's not my favorite activity, but it is worth it for the paper. So yeah, you know, obviously I learned a lot doing it the first time, and we'll do it better the second time. Now, please. I'm going to schedule it. I'm going to schedule it. Just look. So if you have notifications turned on for my YouTube channel, you will get a notification. I will post it in the Facebook group saying, here's the link and here's the time that we're going to be doing it. It will probably be later today. If not today, then tomorrow. Yeah. And that's the live version of it. I will also do a pre-recorded version where it's not live, and I'll just basically be flipping through and showing you guys what I'm talking about in the pre-recorded one. So don't stress. We'll all see it. You guys will all see it eventually. But I'll put it in the Facebook group when it's going to happen with the link, and I'll schedule it on my channel. I do need help. I do, but so before my son got sick, we were all set to hire and to do a million different things with what we're doing here. A million different things, like things that I've been planning for quite some time. But because he is sick and we don't know what's going to happen with that, and I am having to spend quite a bit more time, you know, taking him to appointments and general stress, we can't bring on any more things. So I don't want to hire someone and then have to take months off or whatever, because, you know, if I hire someone, they're counting on me to pay their bills. So before I can do that, I need to be solid here. And with him being sick, I don't know. So until that gets situated, we just kind of got to tread water until that's situated. And then once that's situated, you guys will see some major improvements behind the scenes. We'll get some help, and we're going to move the whole studio, move the whole inventory, move everything. There will be someone packing all of your orders. There will be someone doing all of the accounting and invoicing. And basically, you guys will see me spend more time in the Facebook group and more time making content like videos and crafting and doing those kinds of things. I do need a temporary moderator on Tuesday, Joanne, if you would like to volunteer your services again. Everyone loves you, so that would be awesome. It will come when the time is right. It will. And I know that. And so we're just being patient. It's all there. The foundation is there. We're just, you know, solidifying the timing. So just, you know, thank you guys for being patient with me as we work through this. I know you guys have been incredibly supportive. So pick me. You're hilarious. Nobody else is raising their hand, Joanne. So, that's awesome, Joanne. Thank you so much. I know everyone loves you, loves having you as moderator, so that would be great. The only thing is if I'm not caught up, like if something happens and I'm not caught up, then we're not doing a sale. But 99% sure we are doing a sale. Yeah, I guess that's all I needed to chat with you guys about. See, everyone loves you. I'm not very good with computers either. I mean, I thought I was until I started doing this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't figure these cameras out. These cameras drive me crazy. We're getting new cameras. When we move the studio, we'll have a whole new camera set up that is actually for filming videos, not the kind of cameras that we have now, which are for like live chatting or face chatting or whatever. The cameras what we're getting are for video streaming, not for video conferencing. Everyone that is using that is doing live sales right now, every single one of them is basically using the same camera system I'm currently using, and we want to make upgrades so that the video is better quality. The colors come through more and you guys can see more clearly. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Just look for notifications. Like I said, if you miss it, the video will still be on my channel. So it's not like, you can miss it entirely, but you might miss chatting part of it. And I know you guys are going to want to chat about it. So that's why I want to do live and pre-recorded. The pre-recorded is for people who don't want to listen to us chat back and forth. Basically, those pre-recorded videos are for people who are in our little group that comes every Tuesday and comes to the live craft with me's. Those people are just out there on YouTube and they see a video and they watch it. They want something different than we want here where we get to chit chat. Anyway, so I'm trying to put out both kinds of content. This requires more time, but anyway, I'm gonna go clean up this mess. I'm gonna go pack those. Well, I can't pack them, but I'll email those 8 people. Once I hear back from you, I will know whether to fold your paper or to hold on to it or to something, because some of you literally have 1 or 2 sheets of paper, and the paper was $8. The shipping is going to be more than 8. So I know we're not going to ship it that way. Anyway, we'll figure it out. I don't think there's anything else I need to tell you guys. I'll be in the Facebook group. You guys see me. Bye. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you again before the weekend's over, more than likely. Bye, guys. Thanks so much. Work in your journals if you can. I'd like to see your progress. Bye.